Now, more of Illinois Rising, presented by the Illinois Opportunity Project, the only show directly addressing the problems and solutions for Illinois. Now, from AM 560, here's Dan Proft.
Dan, back with Eric Cohn on this edition of Rising. And Eric, we've had a bit of a brouhaha this week on the House floor during veto session. The bill being discussed was an override of the governor's veto of increasing the civil damage caps for lawsuits against the state in the wake of the deaths at the Quincy Veterans Home. I've been very critical of the governor's handling of that because the criticism is deserved. It was handled terribly. It was a shame. It was more than a shame. It was negligence at best, and something worse than negligence at worst, including sort of the propagandizing and spinning of the abrogation of duties by the state, both from the governor's office as well as the Department of Veterans Affairs. But I wouldn't go quite as far as State Representative Stephanie Kifowit went when she took to the microphone to have her say in response to State Representative Peter Breen, outgoing Republican, lost this last time, House Republican floor leader, who opposed the raising the caps, criticizing it as just a windfall for trial lawyers. Stephanie Kifowit said this to Breen.
To the representative from Lombard, I would like to make him a broth of Legionella and pump it into the water system of his loved one so that they can be infected, they can be mistreated, they can sit and suffer by getting aspirin instead of being properly treated, and ultimately die.
It's somewhat aggressive.
A tad bit, I would say, yeah. Look, there's a lot to unpack there. First of all, as somebody who has been critical at times of the president's rhetoric, this also, I think, exemplifies what is essentially the concern trolling of the left about this kind of stuff, that they're perfectly willing to engage in the same kind of, let's say, over-the-top rhetoric like this. I mean, literally wishing death on the man's family is a new low. I also think it's interesting the way that this has been covered by the media. As I was fully expecting, Capital Facts to only offer the analysis of posting the comments and some coverage of it and say, discuss, that very pointed, exploration of what actually happened here. But compare it to, say, the way that I remembered in 2017 during the budget fight, a lot of frustrated Illinoisans, rank-and-file Illinoisans, were expressing, if somewhat inarticulately, their anger at the whole process and the fact that they're facing an income tax increase. And this prompted coverage from nationally, Politico, talking about the state of the rhetoric that was going on here. And this barely merits, it seems, a peep from the same people concerned about,
civil
new
discourse.
Tone.
Oh, yeah, civil discourse. No, well, Fox News picked it up. It became a national story, so congratulations to Aurora for your representative helping to get Illinois into the national conversation. Well done. Stephanie Kifowit, her response has been interesting. It was initially she was misinterpreted.
Out of context, yeah.
I would like to make him a broth of Legionella and pump it into the water system of his loved ones so that they can be infected, they can be mistreated, they can sit and suffer by getting aspirin instead of being properly treated and ultimately die. I'm not exactly sure what the misinterpretation of that statement was. It doesn't leave a lot to interpretation, but then she thought better of the misinterpretation cover story because, of course, she was being ridiculed, appropriately so, and then she offered an apology. Here's the good news. Here's how this all ends well. Ultimately, and importantly, this has been expunged from the record of the House floor debate. So that clip you just heard, you didn't hear it. We'll never speak of this again. This did not happen. Erase it from your memory, and then there won't be any need for any ugliness.
Tad Soviet comrade.
Not part of the approved record.
Yeah.
Did not. A death wish? That was not a death wish.
Yeah. It didn't happen. What are you talking about? Yes, as if we deployed the memory erasers from Men in Black for the entire floor of the State House. Yeah, you missed one step in her whole process here, which was before issuing what appears to be a, acceptable, reasonable apology, she did what is one of the most aggravating things to me personally, which is the non-apology apology of, I'm sorry if I offended anyone. If you were offended, I apologize. Well, no, it's not contingent on your offense. Take a moment to reflect on your actual words that merit an apology. So it only informs the idea that the apology that was eventually squeezed out of her was probably not sincere either.
I would like the apology also expunged from the record so that we can dispense with the sum total of this unfortunate incident and let Representative Kifowit get back to her good work as a Madigan roll call vote. But it does reminiscent of words from one author wrote a number of books about this sort of thing. What did he say? He who controls the past controls the future. He who controls the present controls the past. Boy, not only did Orwell predict what would be happening to this country vis-a-vis the left, he predicted what would be happening to the state of Illinois vis-a-vis the Madigan.